Hi everyone, and welcome back to our channel, or welcome to our channel if you're new here. In today's video, we'll be showing you how to make a black cake, or rum cake as some people call it. This is a homemade recipe that we make every year for around the holidays, and it comes out super moist and soft, and it's just really great. So if you'd like to see how to make this, then please keep on watching. Alrighty, so we're going to start off with the ingredients you'll need for this recipe. So you're going to need 3.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of ground nutmeg, 2 teaspoons of mixed essence, 1 teaspoon of mixed spices for cake, 6 teaspoons of browning total, and 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. These are all of our spices ingredients. Of course, you're going to need to soak some fruits. We soak these assorted fruits for like 2 months in spice rum, but you can always soak it overnight to get the same effect. We soaked ours with spiced Captain Morgan rum. We also did Johnny Walker black rum and some Grey Goose as well. Aside from soaking your fruits, you're also going to need some wine to soak the actual cake. So we have some red wine here as well as some blackberry wine. I will list the names of them in the description box below. You're also going to need a blender, of course. And you're going to need these mixed essence. I mean, you can always use any types that you could find, but these are the two that we think work the best, and that's the browning as well. 1/4 cup of brown sugar you're also going to need, and a cup of butter. You're also going to need 10 small eggs for the size of pan that we're using. We're also going to need 1.5 cups of sifted flour. So the pan that we're using, coming back to the amount of eggs that we're using this pan here. It's 16 by 9. It's a relatively large pan, but we ended up with a lot more batter, so you'll see us use another pan later on as well. So these are basically the ingredients we need to get started. So without further ado, let's get on into it. Alrighty, so we're going to start off with our soaked fruits. Now you're going to pop those into a blender, and we're going to also add in some of that wine as well with it. So the reason we're blending this in general is to get it to a kind of consistency where it's not as whole inside of the cake. So you'll see that we're pulsating this on our blender, and then you're also going to add in some of that red wine. That way it kind of liquefies it just slightly. We don't want there to be too many big chunks in the cake, and it also helps the cake keep its shape because it won't start to fall apart. And this is roughly the consistency you're looking for in terms of your fruits. Okay, so now we're going to set aside our fruits and work on our batter. So you're going to add in your 1 cup of butter, and don't worry about the spatula. We're using the same spatula from the fruits. Doesn't make a difference. It's the same cake. So you're adding your 1.25 cup of brown sugar as well. And we're just using a hand mixer here to mix this together. And you'll want to keep mixing this until it has less of the graininess of the brown sugar. So you don't want the sugar to be too granulated inside of your batter. You want to get as much of it to mix into the batter as much as possible. So you're going to keep mixing this for about 3 minutes or so, and from there you could see that the consistency is not too like chunky and grainy. It's very smooth. It's okay to have 1 or 2 bits of the sugar grains, but you want to get as much of it out of there as possible. And this is roughly what your beginning of your batter should look like. Okay, so now we're going to start adding our eggs to our batter, and you're going to begin adding your eggs one at a time and separate from your batter. You could see we're putting it into a separate bowl. Don't worry about the little pieces. Those are just pieces from the fruit. This is a tip that is very important. Always crack your eggs in a separate bowl aside from your batter, just in case you get a bad egg. You don't want it to spoil the rest of your batter. It just keeps things safe. So we're hand mixing that just for a few seconds, just so that it's kind of mixed in. And then we're going to do the same thing again with the rest of our eggs up until our 10 eggs are added to our batter. Okay, now that our 10 eggs are added, you're going to mix this together with the hand mixer. And it'll mix it for about 3 minutes and until it's very smooth. And then we'll begin adding our flour. And when you're adding the flour, you're going to add this in small increments. usually you gradually add the flour until you get the desired consistency that you're looking for, and you're looking for a more thick and still smooth consistency. So you can see we're adding that into increments and just folding that in with a spatula. That way you get a good feel of how thick the batter is getting and if you get the right consistency that you're looking for. And you'll know it as if it's going really well if your spatula can stick straight up in your batter. Okay, so we're going to start adding our dry ingredients. So you'll add your 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and you're just going to mix that in roughly, just so that it's mixed in before we add anything else. You're going to add your 3.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and of course, mix that in again. And then you're going to add 1 teaspoon of nutmeg and 1 teaspoon of the mixed spices or allspice. It's made for cake and it works really well in our batter, especially if you want to add all of those ingredients, those baking ingredients. You also add in 2 teaspoons of mixed essence, and you're just going to mix this together. Now you can see that we have a really smooth batter, so we're going to add in our assorted soaked fruits, and you're going to fold that in as well. And now that we have our batter all set, you're going to start adding in your browning. Now with browning, you don't want to go too overboard, but you also want to make sure you have enough. So you're going to start adding in the teaspoons as you go, and that's what we kept doing, and we came up with 6 teaspoons altogether, and that really got the exact color that we were looking for. Now please keep in mind that it's not going to be, you know, like black as black cake, the batter, but you want to get it brown enough so that when you do put it in the oven and it does bake, it's going to get a lot darker. So keep that in mind when you're adding the browning. You don't want to add too much because it's going to end up getting darker in the oven anyways. So you can see here we're just adding each time and mixing it in, and as you're mixing it in, you'll notice if it's the color that you desire. As you can see with our camera and the lighting, it looks a lot lighter than it actually is. So you could see here, we're just double checking once again that our spatula can stand straight up in our batter, and that's how you know your cake batter is perfect and it's ready to go to put into the oven. Okay, so we're gonna have our lined pan with flour and we're gonna add in our batter. So you're not gonna add your batter all the way to the top. You're gonna add it about halfway or so, and you can see we have a lot of batter left over, so we'll show you a clip later on of the other pan that we used. So you're gonna put this into the oven for 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 55 minutes. Make sure to preheat your oven beforehand. And this is what our cake looks like. So you can see it rise quite a bit, so that's why it's really good that we didn't add all of the batter in there. And you can see when you poke a knife into it, if anything comes out on the knife, then it's not ready, and of course if nothing's on there, you're good to go. So now we're adding in some of the blackberry wine, and you can see we're soaking it. Now you can soak it with your whatever desired wine you're using, and you're going to soak it every hour until you reach the desired consistency. So what this does is that it really softens up the cake, and you want to make sure you do this as soon as you take the cake out of the oven when it's still hot, because you could see it's absorbing all of that liquid, and you could see that it's really moist and has a lot of buoyancy to it. So that is pretty much the cake all finished, and you can see we cut a slice here with some walnuts and a cherry on top. And yeah, that is today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think by the time this video goes up, it's the day before Christmas, so happy holidays to everyone celebrating, and hopefully you have a fantastic new year. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to comment down below what you thought of this video and other videos on our channel. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos whenever we upload. I just want to say a happy holidays to everyone out there and their families, and a fantastic new year to come. So thanks for watching and have a great holiday. Thanks. Bye.